he'll come on down and he'll be speaking of growth and prosperity, but I believe we got a little bit more of a treat for us. Thank you.
I actually will not be speaking about growth and prosperity at all. That was put in the email that was sent to me. I think she liked giving out topics just as placeholders and seeing what we would do. My name is Steve Smith. I am not a political leader. I am not a party chairman. I am a dad, and I live in Gwinnett County.
Most important office.
It can be. Yeah. Depends on how you get it. I happen to have a 10-year-old who's brilliant. No thanks to me. So at least the other half worked out fine. But 2 years ago, I got a phone call from a friend who was actually my old high school quarterback who said, "Are you paying attention to the school board stuff?" My kid was 8, and no, I wasn't. But I was tired of him being home. Schools had been closed down. I was supposed to teach him, and he was teaching himself 35 minutes a day, and then he was done. So we wanted to fight to get these kids back into schools. We had elections. They revamped our entire school board. We went from a 4-1 conservative majority to a 3-2, 3.5-ish liberal. They were running the show now. And they were very vocal about what they wanted to change. Very vocal about what they wanted to change. So I started reading into it, kind of seeing what was going on, what they wanted to get into. And as you've seen across the country, there have been all these fights at school boards with policies and people calling out CRT or calling out woke ideologies. And I got wrapped up into that for a minute myself because it's easy to do. One of my favorite quotes is, "Be a voice, not an echo." Mm-hmm. And what is happening, in my opinion, and a lot of you are going to hate me by the time I put this microphone down, I'm just going to be honest. The Republican Party, conservatives, have become a vast echo chamber.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, liberals and Democrats are guilty of the same thing. But we have all taken to taking a soundbite, taking a quote like woke ideology, and just running with it. And we run with it in packs, and we run with it like lemmings right off the cliff. Yes. Half the folks who scream woke ideology don't actually know what the definition of woke is.
Right.
There has been a definition of the word woke for almost 100 years. It was predominantly used by African American communities and had to do with racial injustice. It has nothing to do with gender ideology. It has nothing to do with liberal propaganda.
That's right.
But it has been co-opted by conservatives as this catch-all phrase. And they don't even know what they're talking about when they say it. So if we're going to speak out and speak out for our country and our values and what we believe in, we need to be factually accurate. Because if you're not, you look like a whiny, complaining Karen. And no offense if there are any Karens in the room. My mother happens to hate that phrase because that's her name. She didn't know what it meant until 18 months ago, and she hated it even more. But the reason I came tonight, thank you for inviting me, Cassandra, was as a conservative, I've spent a lot of time the last year doing the dirty work behind the scenes, working with legislators to craft bills, working with the school board members who I vocally in public have just slammed and admonished and made them look foolish. I've got videos out there that have had 20,000 plus views. And people are like, "Who's the guy in the black hat?" I wore the black hat because I was trying to hide my face the first time to make sure I didn't get canceled. I was going bald. I've already finished that task. In one of the first fundraisers I went to, I walked in a suit and tie like so many of you are wearing, and not a single person knew who I was because they're used to the hat. So I wear it everywhere I go now. I worn it to the state capitol to testify in front of Senate committees just so people knew who I was. But my point in saying that is this. While you all look very nice in your coats and ties, and this is for the young guys, okay? The Blazers suck. We all hate the Blazers. You'll get used to it for whatever you're wanting to do. But I wear jeans and polo shirts. I have tattoos. I use vulgar language. I'm not afraid to admit I've used marijuana before. Yeah, I know. And if you think about it from a truly conservative standpoint, we all believe in limited government, correct? We want states' rights. We want the government to stay out of our lives. Yet, as a party that likes to invoke Christian values, we're very conflicted about what we want, right? Because marijuana legalization, or at least decriminalization, that would be a limited government ideal. But the other side says, no, can't do that. Bad. Really? We could raise revenue, right? We do that on cigarettes and alcohol. There's a lot of things in the Republican Party that, in my 42-year-old opinion, need to change for the 21 to 25-year-olds sitting in the back. You have got to learn how to go out and recruit for what we believe in a way that they have not done it yet. You've got to go find people that do not look like you. Mm-hmm. This party has a very bad Caucasian problem. Yes. Let's just be real. I did one of these meetings a couple of months ago. There was 44 people in that room. 43 of them looked like me. And most of them were old enough to be my parents. If we're going to continue to do that as a party, we will lose every single election, 60-40, 65-35. Because as this country grows and diversifies, old white folks are dying off. Let's just be real. So if you want to have civil debate, you've got to learn how to debate. You've got to learn how to fight for your ideals with people who historically have not agreed with you. What you will find is if you reach out to a lot of these people, family values are very important. That's not a Republican or a Democrat ideal. That's just a human ideal. And we share that. But if you walk in, I had a guy tell me once, go to their door. Hi, I'm Steve Smith. I'm with the Republican Party, and let me tell you why. I said, they will slam the door in your face faster than a Jehovah's Witness. Because if they don't agree with anything they think a Republican is, they are not going to listen to you. Right. So better yet, reach out to folks, meet them, talk to them, get to know them, find out where you have common ground.
Exactly.
By the way, we do that over here. So that's not a hard thing to do. That's good. But you've got to use facts, not feelings.
That's right.
Okay? One thing that drives, and this is where y'all gonna hate me, because I've heard Trump a bunch in here today. Trump rallies look like NASCAR races, let's be honest. Everybody's wearing the same hat, everybody's wearing the same flag, we're listening to the same 5 songs, and it's, woo, here's my country. Tell me why. And if he's the nominee, great, I will vote for him. If it's DeSantis, I'm going to vote for him too. If it's Tim Scott, I'm going to vote for him.
True.
The Democratic Party is amazing at this. It's Hillary, it's Joe, we hate him, we hate her, but the minute they pick a nominee, baby, they're unified as hell.
Yeah.
They do not care who it is.
Yeah.
If I hear it one more time, if it's not my nominee, I'm not going to vote. You might as well be a Democrat.
Yeah.
You're going to cost us an election. Yeah. So we've got to get that going. That's got to go away. And if that candidate is preaching that, then get rid of the candidate. That's just as simple as it can get. If we don't start doing personal responsibility again, which was a central tenet of Reagan Republicans, the conservative movement in general, and if you want a better way to say it, people just need to grow the hell up. Okay? COVID let a lot of people stay home, get a check, see what it's like to actually live socialist experiments, and they were fine with it. I mean, I enjoyed the vacation for a minute too, but I didn't like it on my bank account. You had to go back to work. You had to get back on that horse, but you've got to show people why that's the way to live. And that's y'all's job. And I'm looking at you young guys sitting right there. I know you don't want to hear old people talk on me, so I'm trying to do it in a way that you'll understand. You got an uphill battle in front of you because you're young. The old phrase used to be, if you're 20 and a Republican, you don't have a heart, and if you're 40 and a Democrat, you don't have a brain. That hasn't changed, but you've got to understand why people think that way. In your 20s, it's easy to ask for a free check, talk about your feelings, not worry about your future. By the time you're 40 and you have a 10-year-old son, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to feed him, put him through college, keep a roof over his head, you start to realize that some of that silly stuff that you were so passionate about when you were 25 doesn't matter anymore. And if you're 40 and don't have kids, it still doesn't matter anymore. You've got to figure out what you're going to do to go forward. Yeah. I'm not going to take any more time. I know we're running slow here. Just do what's right and stop fighting each other. That's the key to this whole party. The fighting inside has got to stop.
That's right.
We'll pick somebody. We need to all gather behind them, and we're going to do it together. But we cannot continue with 4 more years what we got. So that's my key to you tonight. I don't care how you do it. I don't care what you wear. I don't care how you say it. If you need to go out there and go fucking vote for this guy, then say it. But make sure it works. Make sure whatever you're doing works. Okay? Thank you for having me.